right. Okay. So everyone is able to hear now? Okay. Yes. All right. So I see many people who joined apart from the ones who were already into the QA training. Okay. So to give a brief, just what was covered so far and what is left apart, and then we'll start about the test management tools. Okay. So we have covered on how to do effective requirement analysis, requirement clarifications, how to do that, how to escalate it, and then how to prepare your test plan, then start writing your test scenarios, then test cases, and we started little on the test execution as well and defect management. Okay, so we'll take another session for that and we'll complete it. But meanwhile, most of you are now aware about what this testing life cycle is about, what constitutes of testing life cycle, right? Fair idea? Or anyone who doesn't have who is new to this process or who doesn't have an idea about this testing life cycle? If no, you can post it on the chat, please. Okay, Rakesh one. So Rakesh, this is your first session. You haven't attended the manual testing training. Okay. I would suggest you to look back into the manual testing training again. But just to give a fair idea again, it is nothing but requirement analysis and then doing your test planning, test scenarios preparation, test execution, and defect management, and last is metrics preparation. Okay, now if you see right, there's a lot that goes into all these activities, right? A simple and fair way of telling is, you got right from the requirement stage itself, you got what? You have a lot of documentation, right? If it's a big project, even if it is a small project, you will have a lot of documents that will be shared with everyone, and you have multiple roles and multiple stakeholders, right? Just like we have the client side people, the developers, BAs, testers, and stakeholders, right? So everyone will see the same information in multiple dimensions, right? And everyone would need a common place to see these documents. It can be requirement document, it can be test plan document, or it can be test cases, the test execution results, the defects opened, and the status. So there are multiple documents which each of the stakeholder for that particular product would like to see, right? Now if you sum up, there's a lot of documentation there, and there's the way it is being looked or the way it is being notified, right? Or the way it has been, it is projected, it all differs from one stakeholder to the other stakeholder, right? Also, if you know, what we have done for the earlier project while doing the live training, we have shared you the Google Drive, right? So let's list out the classic problems. You list out the classic problems while you use the Google Drive. So share your experiences. Then we'll discuss about it. Or Google Drive or your email. We used emails for communication, right? So share your experiences or the what do you say, the problem statements you have gone through or the solution that you think is the better one. Okay, the first one is requirements were not clear. All right. Okay, second one is the folder was not organized. Okay. No. Okay. You must have Google a good account for login. Yes. Common account, only Google account to login. Okay. All right. It would be from person to person, but it's not universal. Okay. So what's that perception? You tell me. That's fine. It would be great if manual testing and Selenium were not combined. Okay. Tough to maintain or track. Yes. 4. Okay. Folder was not organized, and then we were having club run one with the other. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Proper access should be provided to different team members. Yes. So security based login. The other way of putting it. Agreed? Anything else? I thought you'll come up with lot of problem statements here. I see only few or minimal. So you had good time using this particular application then, Google Drive. Should be free for lifetime. Okay. Right. So that's the good point raised by question. Someone update file who notify added new file. Yes. So notifications. That's the most important thing. And the other point raised easily is change management. Versioning is not there. Yes. So change management or versioning. All right. And reports cannot be generated. Good. Okay. Reports cannot be generated. Right. So if you see in a company, so these are few. Okay. As and when we'll discuss more, we might get few more. Then we'll discuss. So in a company, in an organization, if you have to share the documents, Earlier we were having any shared folder where all the documents will be marked in a organized format and shared with all. Okay, so it needs permission to access these files, right? So what was the next? There was this read and write access, right? Read and write. So few are given with read only access and few are given with read and write access. Now if someone deletes a file, it is gone forever, right? And there is no track who did it, right? So if you see any folder, you have created date and modified date and updated date, right? The same logic we apply still. If someone deletes a file, it's gone forever. Or you can see still in the trash. Unless shift delete is used, it's still available in trash. But at the end of the day, all the stakeholders are missing that folder, right? They are not able to access it, which means the problem for the entire process, right? So the solution for that is a proper test management tool. Okay, all the testing activities will be properly organized or will be properly sharing, organizing, maintaining, versioning will be done using these test management tools. A simple example if I would want to let you know is Gmail. It's your email management tool, right? But the only difference is your details cannot be viewed by anyone else. It will be only you that will be seen. But in case of test management tool, the same way how is it organized, it will be visible if someone else is also having access to that particular application, right? So far so good. Any questions? Okay. So there's a question here. Can you please explain why taking requirement analysis? What are the problem statements? Okay. Say suppose I have a requirement, okay, and it is mentioned like create access folder to all managers having all managers in order to look into the sales data for an year. So I have a file which has the sales information for the complete year and I should create an access folder. So this is what I have created requirement, say suppose. It would be in the requirement document. So a requirement document will be prepared which will give you all the list of requirements like shared folder details, okay, and then I'll have other information like who will have access, the level of access, whether it's read only or write. Okay, so this is what initially mentioned in the requirement document. Now the stakeholders, the ones who will be involved in this particular project are BAs, developers, and developers, testers, and client managers or stakeholders. Now this happened. Now what will happen? Now we will have a requirement clarification log created. The next document will be the requirement clarification log, where we will be maintaining all these questions, all clarifications. Now this one should be a shared document. Okay, for BA it should be read write access. Agreed. For developers it should be only read access. For testers it should be only read access, and client managers or stakeholders also should be read only access, ideally, right? For RCL the same set of people will come, and for them all it should be read and write. Agreed? Right? Now let's stop here itself. We will not go further. Now if you see, if any developer has to write something on the requirement document, or tester has to write something on the requirement document, it's not available for them, right? Which means they have only read and write access. Okay, say suppose the design has to be changed, or the design document has to be changed. Okay, what is RCL? RCL is requirement clarification log. And okay, coming back. Now all these things have to, all the change management, all the changes have to be done by only business analyst, right? Whereas in RCL, requirement clarification log, everyone who is involved in this particular project can have access. Now is there any problem statement here? Do you foresee any problem here? Yes, no? Yes, so what's the problem? Yes. So if the requirement keeps on changing, the only person that would be able to write is BA, right? So which means if any requirement is changed in the mid of the project, it has to be changed only by BA, right? So we know who has changed, and no track or notification is available in this case, which means no track means the old requirement what was there is not available, or the notifications are not sent to the entire person or entire stakeholders, right? So that's problem one. Okay, anything else? Yes, this is standard change management. Yes, right. Any other problems you foresee? This is the major issue with every project actually, right? Any other problem we foresee here? All right, okay. The other problem is we generally face in real-time environment is, if suppose it has been deleted by the BA, okay, deletions. That's another problem. Okay. So in order to resolve these kind of issues, these kind of admin and security issues, we need some standard procedure or some standard protocols thing, which with general shared folder or with the Google Drive it cannot be resolved, right? So that's where the solution for this is typical test management tools. All right. So is this example enough, or do you want me to prolong? Do you want me to explain it further? All right. Yes. Right. Now, if you see a bigger projects, right, you will have multiple releases as well, right? Multiple releases. So each release, whatever is the requirement, it might have to, in that particular release, that particular requirement might not have achieved, or we might not have achieved that entire testing, or a part of testing is not achieved. So what will we do? We will carry it forward to the next release and take it there. Now, is there any track between these two? There should be some track, right? So the regression testing we will be doing that's what we'll be doing in the second release, right? So that's where having a complete track or a link between the earlier requirement to this requirement should be there. With the shared folder, we might not be able to achieve it, right? So that's another way of telling the need of test management tools. Okay. Now, so what are the list of test management tools that we got in the market? So on a broader way, we can define any application these days like commercial tools or and free tools or available on demand, which these days we call it as SaaS. Okay, so there are three different kind of tools which we have in the market. The commercial tools, we got the primary and the most widely used commercial tool is HP ALM. All right, and then we got OATS from Oracle. Okay, ALM is application lifecycle management tool. Okay, OATS Oracle. This is Oracle application test suite. Okay, and then we got few tools, free tools like Jira, and these days they are moving into commercial slot again. But then again, you can use you can use Jira. Selenium is your automation test management tool. Okay, automation tool. All right, and then we got Bugzilla. All right. Even ALM is also SaaS is nothing but software as a service, which means okay. People understand the concept of SaaS, or do you want to explain a bit about it? Okay, so SaaS is nothing but say suppose I am not able to what do you say, pour in money, or I am not ready to invest on the all the servers and the management. Okay, I don't have enough money to manage all these, right? So typically I would need, if at all I have any application or tool, I would need a server, okay, the support personnel, space and expertise, right? So if I'm not ready to invest on this, what I'll do is I'll rent these services from someone. Okay, so rent them, and those the service provider will do the above task. So he will be the one who will be having a space, or who will be having the server. He will be hosting it. He will provide a space for us on his server or their servers, and the necessary support and expertise for it. So for this we will have to pay as a rental, just like you pay for rental, right? The same way we'll have to do. So that's software as a service, on a simple way of letting you know, right? So even if you are not able to maintain all these tools, they will host for you and we will have access to it. Okay, so these days we call it, I mean, you might have heard the concept of cloud, right? Cloud computing. So these are all about SaaS itself. Okay, so we have ALM also on SaaS. Okay, and this other tool like Jafire. Okay, uh, and then multiple other tools are there: test trail, practice test, practice test, test stuff, Gemini, test link, TFS, etc. Okay, so these are few test management tools that we got in the market. Okay, 1 second, I have one picture somewhere in my email, I'll let you know. Yeah, Performance Center, Telerik, Fortify, Bugzilla. Bugzilla is more of defect management, but these days they have extended their services to entire test management also. Okay, 1 second. I have a document somewhere. I'll open the list once. Okay, all right. So this is one list I had some. Okay, so if you see, these are the list of tools and the areas in a test management. What are the areas that it will be serving upon? Okay, test case creation, everything will support, every tool will support, and then test plan creation, test suite. Test suite is release based management. Okay, so for every release, what are the list of test cases you will have, what are the regression test cases you will be having. Okay, so you can create the folder to differentiate it. Okay, and under each folder you can create subfolders, like say suppose I have database test cases, and then I have ETL based test cases, I have functional test cases, I have web services test cases. Then I can differentiate by giving multiple folders. Okay, so the respective tester can log in directly into the application, go to the respective folder and do it. And so it's a proper way and easier way to get access to the respective test cases. Alright, so that's a part of test suite creation. And requirement traceability. So the other day we were discussing about requirement traceability, right? So this will help you in giving the requirement traceability. Okay, so if you remember back, how did we create the requirement traceability in Excel sheet? In the test cases, we wrote what are the list of test cases and we mapped it to the requirement, respective requirement, right? So that's how we will be able to know what are the list of requirements that are covered. Now, what's the prerequisite for it? Yes, so the prerequisite for us, you need to map every requirement with a respective requirement ID. Okay, and that should be universal. If all the stakeholders are not sure about what is the common, or the what do you say, the common requirement ID or the format that we are using in the project, we will not be able to do it, right? So this tools will help you in creating the common standards for the requirement ID, and that will be used everywhere in the project. Okay. Brett is asking, can you show traceability matrix you use? Sorry for that. Okay. This at this moment I don't have. Brett, sorry for that. But in the sorry, 1 second please. Yeah. So we have the QA session, last session on Monday. Okay. So if you would if you would join that session, I'll be able to show you the traceability matrix. Okay. So coming back. So defect reporting. Okay. Just like as I said earlier, right? The correct person should be assigned to the defect, and he or she should be notified, right? So the entire notification part is available in defect reporting plus email notifications, right? The proper email should be sent with whatever format is it. The predefined format of the email should be there. Vinay is asking, is there any other tool we can create RTM other than Excel sheet? These are the tools that will help you in creating the requirement test table. Okay. So when you write your test cases or when you upload your test cases in the application itself, you can generate a report which will let you know the report RTM. Okay. So coming back, role-based security. As I said, right, we have multiple releases and multiple projects that are running. So all the persons might not be able to see the test cases. Okay. A typical example is you are in a banking project. Okay. Ideally, in a banking project or a financial project, client will not allow a single person to understand end-to-end flow. Typically, that's how they would want it. So what they will do is they will have multiple clients for testing multiple applications. Okay. Or what they'll do is they will have multiple modules created and each team will be testing them. So there might be little integration between these modules, or there might be little integration between these teams, right? In that case, when you are using a common test management tool and have access complete, you have the complete access to it, which means we can see other team test cases as well, right? Which is against the basic client's expectation, right? So we should have an effective role-based security here. Okay. Okay. Brett is asking, I think the architect or the design engineer must have end-to-end access. Why not? So that's the reason they are highly paid, Brett. Okay. They should be having an access. But from the actual perspective or from the actual design perspective or from actual testing or design perspective, all members are not allowed to have the complete picture, or they would ideally would not accept that. Okay. Yeah. All right. And then is integration with Jira. Okay. Now why Jira specific here? This one is a specific one, so let not worry about it. But Jira is one of the tool which will help in agile based architecture, in the sense you have an agile methodology that you are following, okay, like Scrum or any other model, and Jira will facilitate that particular model. Okay, it's not that HPLM or OATS doesn't support, but Jira is very simple and easily you can understand, and as it is an open source tool, it's very easy for anyone to connect to it or anyone to download and just understand. Okay, as part of this training, our primary focus will be on Jira only. Okay, this is the application where I will be letting you know, or will showcase the entire test management process. Okay. Now, Jira is not just the tool that's used for Agile. You got many other tools as well. Okay, Zephyr is one such. All right. Okay, APIs. Now, if you see, right, just these are all your manual test cases, right? Apart from that, you might want to initiate your automation scripts from this, right? It is always good that whatever is your manual test case, that should be automated as part of regression, right? So hope this is already covered by Karthik and you are aware of it, right? So the general thumb rule in any industry is you can automate only regression test cases, not the current release test cases. It is not suggestible at all. Okay, but with the what do you say, the agile in picture, in agile there's only one advantage is while you are developing the project, it is expected or anticipated from the tester that you will create your automation framework prior to the actual development. Okay, so that's one way of looking into the automation. But in real-time environment or in actual waterfall or the other models, the testing is done only after one release is completed, and it's done only on the regression test cases. Now, if you would want to run your regression or test case automation scripts, what you will have to do is you will have to connect to the tool and then run it, right? Instead, if you have a connectivity to your test management tool, to the respective automation tool, and if you can initiate the automation scripts from the test cases, from the manual test cases, it is good to have a feature, right? So that's where APIs will help you. Okay, which means they are giving you the connectivity to that particular, the second tool or the next tool. Okay, so all these tools will help you in having that particular connectivity. All right. And the next and foremost thing for every tester is while doing the test execution, you want to update the results or attach the screenshots of your execution. That's the typical proof that you have executed the test case. So if you have the attachment facility in that tool, it would be helpful, right? Charts and graphs. As we said earlier, you'll need to have a proper reporting, or you need to have proper charts to see, right? So you have multiple charts like, or graphs like bar graph, right, and line graph, or Gantt chart, etc. So all these are more useful from the management perspective or the test management perspective. You need to see the progress per day, or how many test cases have been written for this particular release, or how many defects are open, what is the status of the defects, what is the severity, what is the priority. So if you want to see the number or count, you generally look into the charts and graphs. So these, it's a good to have feature in the particular application, in the test management tool, right? And metrics is it will help you in what's the actual purpose of having a metric. What is a metrics in general? Yes, so it's a standard. So you're saying that this is the standard actually, and have we achieved it or not, right? So for any project you will be having some standards, and you will be mentioning what is the actuals for it, right? So what is the actual status of it? So that's a good to have feature in any of the test management, right? One simple example, if you could tell me. you have a test plan where saying that I have 10 days to execute these number of count. So say suppose I got 100 test cases and I should complete them in 10 days. So what would be the standard expectation? That each day I should have 10 test cases executed, right? So that's where your metrics. So I have 10 test cases planned and I have done 11. So this comparison should be there, right? So that's your metrics report. A simple way of telling you. Okay, and then the final one is import and export support, right? Obviously, if you would want to say share the graphs, you would like to export it in an Excel sheet or a document and share it, or if you want to see the list of test cases which are written in the tool, you would want to import it in Excel and do some changes or something, or you can export it back to the test suite or the test case, okay, section. So that's where the import and export facility will help. Ideally, again, I'm telling you, in real time, you will write your test cases in Excel sheet with the columns that are present in your test management tool. So test management tool will have some mandatory test case columns. The columns which we discussed earlier, you remember, right? What goes into the test case? Those columns will be there in the test management tool as well. Maybe some naming convention will be different, but the purpose will be the same. So you will have to map them to the Excel sheet, and that's where you will be loading it. Okay, so that's import and export facility. So on a high level, these are the areas any of the test management tool will, on a high level, are the functionalities that will be catered by the test management tool. All right, any questions? Okay, Brett is asking, have you ever used context security tools? But I haven't used, I'm more into ETL testing actually. Okay, so Lizzie is asking, can you explain API one more time? Okay, see, API is nothing but it defines the how do you connect with a different tool, right? Or what is the protocol of converting, communicating with the other tool. So as I said, we have all the manual test case in our test management tool, and I would want to initiate the automation, respective automation script. So what I will do, I'll go and give the link in the manual test case to the respective automation script, and when I click on it, it will start the automation tool and it will automatically run that particular automation script. So now how do I do it? Say suppose I got 10 persons clicking on the same application, or 10 persons clicking on, say suppose 10 different test cases. Now what will happen? All the 10 um, test links will initiate the same automation application, right? But it will have to run 10 different automation scripts. Now what should it do? What is the priority for it? Can it run multiple instances? Ideally, any automation tool will run only one instance. Okay. If it is multiple role based, then you can run multiple instances, right? So how that routines or the protocol will be defined, how the user to user mapping will happen. So all this will be defined in the APIs. Got the point, Lizzie? Okay. Which test management tool is mostly used in real scenario? generally HPALM will be used. Okay. Again, as I said, right, HPALM is the widely one used, or if you are using Microsoft based projects products, right, so then people will go with TFS. Okay. So let me list you out there. One second. HPALM, OATS for Oracle based applications. See, if you are using Oracle applications like Oracle Server, okay, and Java, then people will prefer for OATS, okay. But then again, OATS is not widely used because of its complexity. So OATS is having manual test management tool as well as automation uh, automation tool as well, right? So it's very easy to integrate, and the connectivity to the respective applications in all Oracle applications will also be easy. But then again, this is very sophisticated, so people will ideally will go back to HPLM and automation tool as UFT or Selenium. Okay, so it all depends on the amount of money that particular client is ready to invest. If you want to have an end-to-end application suite, say suppose he is using Oracle, then they will go for outputs. But as I see in my entire 12 years career, major amount of time I used HPLM itself. Now with open source tools coming in picture these days, people started using Jira as well. Okay. Yeah. So what's the need of using commercial tools when we got more open source tools available? That all depends. See, it depends from one client to the other client. If say suppose I don't want someone else dictating how I have to use it, I would not suggest. Or if I want to be more secured enough, or say suppose tomorrow this open source tool shut down their business. I mean they don't want to or they will not give proper support, right? Then it's a problem for them. Instead, if I have an in-house tool or a commercial tool where I'll get a proper support or what is it, immediate support for a problem that I faced, that would be more helpful for me, right? Right? I don't have that expertise, or I don't have an expertise to maintain the open source tools or technology to maintain it, or I'm not aware of it. I need support for some time. I might not go for that particular open source tool. Instead, I'll go for a commercial tool. So it all depends on client to client. All right. Yes, Mamta, you had a question. You raised your hand, and you, I'm unmuted you. Yeah. Or it's just accidental that you raised. Mamta. All right. Any other questions, please? Okay. As part of this training, right, we'll be using Jira. It's a 1 month trial. You can get it as 1 month trial. So you can go to the application and then download it. Okay. So Jira software, product and issue tracking. So this is the one you can download. Also, I'm not assuring you, but one day I'll show you HPALM as well. Okay. and other tool TFS. Okay, so that you will have a fair idea about how is it different from Jira, TFS, and HPLN. All right. Any questions, or do you want to see it in a different way? Have you got any expectations as such? The other way of telling this is, see, why we are going for Jira is we have the agile what do you say class also as well planned for this JPACT, right? It would be helpful, or it would be suggestible that if we have Jira, because it supports the Scrum based model. It has an inbuilt Scrum based model. I mean, it's like plug and play. So you have a Scrum model defined, and you can rename those columns or the ad hoc columns that are created, and you can align it to your Scrum process. Okay, so that's one advantage of Jira application. So you can see your user stories. If someone has a fair idea about Agile, or don't mind if I'm jumping to Agile directly. So you can see your user stories, who is the owner for it, okay? The Scrum based model, the roles that are defined in the Scrum process. So role based access, okay? And the hierarchies definition. The next, if any defect is assigned, who is the immediate person that should be looking into. So all these definitions can be easily made in Jira. Okay, that's one beautiful feature that's available in Jira. Okay, so that's the reason we are stressing on using Jira for this test management tool as well. Okay. Yes, Rakesh, you raised your hand.
Yeah, thank you. When we can expect this difference between Jira and the TFS,
Uh,
and that will be a free thing, or it will be a paid version?
I mean the difference, or the session you mean to say?
The session.
The session will be part of this training itself. The actual plan was
Alright.
5 days, but I'm what do you say? I'll have to extend it because we want to give you complete information. I will just don't want to give half-baked information to you. So one session maybe on the
Yeah.
6th or 7th day, I'll be showing you the difference between Jira and TFS. Okay.
Alright. Thank you.
Yeah. Um, okay. Are you going to demonstrate, Brett? Yes. I'll show you how we will be using TFS. I'll be preparing it well before. Okay. And then we will showcase it, this difference with Jira. Alright. See, again I'm telling you, any of the test management tool will follow the same the process. They will have the test cases written, okay, how do you map the test cases to requirements, so on and so forth will be similar. But the only few differences that you can say is the way it is done, the look and feel about it, okay. Yes, Ruxana, it's a trial for 30 days only. Yes, no.
I was wondering, like, if Jira is just for the client server, I mean, the Windows-based applications, or also for web-based applications?
Yes, so it's like Jira is actually a client. I mean, the one which we are looking, it's a client for it's a client. So if it is having, you can host it on your what do you say? It can be hosted in house, or you can use it as a on your cloud option also. If you see this, right? This is a cloud one, which means the entire server is hosted on Jira in Jira itself. In the sense, the Jira. the Jira company, I mean, they have their own cloud for it, and they are giving some space for us now because I'm downloading it as a trial. I cannot have the entire server installed on my laptop, right? So that's the reason I'm hosting, I mean, it is hosted and it's a free one that is available. Instead, if if I am starting my company and I want Jira and I don't have the expertise or time or space to have my own server, I'll instead go use the cloud option where Jira itself will be hosting the server, and I'll be having access to it. That's it. Okay, it's both server client based as well as cloud based. It makes sense or still confused? Okay, yeah. I am muting you again, Nupur. Any other questions?
No, thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you so much.
Are you going to deal with ALM as well? At least if you could walk through the high level flow. Yes. See, TFS and ALM, those will be already developed. I'll be showing an existing project that I'm doing already. Okay. I'll let you know the flow in both ALM and TFS. But in Jira, we'll do it from end to end. Right from the requirement creation, no, right from the roles creation, then to the requirements, then the test scenarios preparation, test cases, so on and so forth. All right. Yeah, sure. So Vinay is asking, can we look burn chart in ALM like Jira? Yes, we can see even in ALM as well. It will show you the number of test cases that are completed, or what's the status like. You have this. I just forgot the name. Right now, I'm not able to listen. Yeah, but we have similar feature like burn chart in Jira. Okay. Yeah. See, the difference between Jira and ALM is Jira, you can align it to the agile methodology. ALM, they are still, they are, I mean, they are yet to develop this, what to say, aligning to the agile methodology. See, ALM is more user friendly and from my perspective, or you will have enough track here. But Jira, you cannot upload all your test cases. That's one disadvantage. In Jira, you'll still have to use Excel sheet. You will attach your test cases in the form of Excel sheet. So you don't have what do you say? Uh, how you'll see in ALM where you will see test case folder, then under that release, respective release, and under that the respective test cases. Okay, so it's more UI user friendly in ALM, whereas in Jira it's more only the process, the admin task will be more instead of the actual testing. So whenever your test case is executed, right, you will want to see the results. That you can easily see in ALM, but not in Jira. Will you be explaining how to maintain version control with TFS? No, Rakesh. I'll show you how the test management is done. Version control, I'll show you if any changes are done, how will you be able to see the changes to it. Okay. Asha is asking, in real project scenario, who would be configuring Jira? Jira configuration is done by admins. Again, it's the architects, it's the test architect, just like we have design architect or development architects or database architects. Similarly, for test management, this particular tool also, you will have test architects who will be knowing the end-to-end flow. See, we discussed this thing, right? If you have requirements, okay, who will be given read write, who will be given the read only access, which document you should have access, who will be having access, all this will be defined by the test architect based on his or her inputs. the admin will create the roles, the flow. Okay, so that's how it works. It's not just for Jira. Any other test management tool also, the architect will define what role or what level of access each user will be having. Okay, from say suppose I opened a defect, it should be assigned to whom. If it is closed, whom it should be assigned. Okay, when I close a defect, it should not be available in open section. So all these are the architecture level definitions, right? So a test architect will be doing it and it will be implemented by Jira admin. All right, any other questions, please? Okay. Okay, again I'm reiterating it again. See, it's just the test management that we are doing, the entire life cycle. We are placing those documentation, the process in the tool. The tool is nothing more than that. All right. So if you understand the entire life cycle, it's very easy for us to map to the respective test management tool. As we have waterfall model, V model, agile model. So in these different types of models, how are we aligning our test management? That's where one test management tool to the other test management tool differs. That's it. So primarily if you see Jira and ALM, Jira will help you in aligning your agile model to the test management process. Okay. One simple thing is you will not have a requirement document as detailed as it is in waterfall. You will have a one-line stories, right? So there you will call your requirement document as user story in agile. Apologies if I'm jumping to agile methodology and few people, if you're not aware of agile, it would be confusing. But in agile, you will be having user stories, whereas in a V model or waterfall model, you will term it as requirements or SRS document or BRS document or MD50s, or you will have a respective terminologies for your requirement, right? But on a high level, both are requirements, and that's your test management process. That's the initial phase of your test management process. But by model, the naming convention is differing, right? So how will you see your user stories? You will have a single line or a 2 or 3 liners as a requirement, whereas in your V or waterfall model, it would be very detailed. Okay, so how do you align yourself to that particular tool is the difference. That's it. Make sense for everyone? All right, anything else? So this is it for today. Okay, tomorrow we'll start on Jira tool. We'll start with the admin task first, the role definition, and the installation. First we'll start with installation and then we'll show you how to. Okay. All right. Any other questions, please? My only request for everyone is post as many questions as possible. I will be very happy to answer. That's where you will be able to understand. If I am not able to explain or give answers, I'll take my time, sweet time, and not sweet time. I'll take time and will let you provide the answers in the next session. All right. Do we have any placement guarantee in project assignment? Vinay, I suppose you haven't attended Karthik's first session. The entire purpose of JPACT is that. Okay. No. Okay. Yeah. So this one is a placement guarantee that we Karthik is trying to get into. Yeah. Please check in those videos again. Okay. I might not be the correct person to answer. Yeah. Others as well. I'm not pretty much sure about the guarantee part. Please look into those videos, okay? Or you can contact the team sales.elearn@gmail.com. They'll be happy to answer you. All right. Should a tester be knowing all these? All these means the test management tools, you mean to say, Asha? Yes. As a tester, right, you should be knowing what are the test management tools, what are the manual tools we got, right? So what in the resume, see, again I'm reiterating again. If I have ALM knowledge, it doesn't mean that you are or we are or I is proficient in the entire testing process. Okay, but it means that hey he or she has some understanding about the tool, and he or she is proficient or at least having a knowledge on the test management process as well. Okay, it's just an indication. Something is better than nothing, right? Also, it will help you in doing the activities, or when you are into the project, it will be very easy or helpful for you to know what are the requirements that were there in the earlier releases. As I said, the problem statement earlier while doing the manual testing, if you are coming new into the project, an existing project, you might not have that leverage to get the KT about the entire requirement, right? So what's a better way of doing? Looking into the old requirements. So how will you do when you are having a shared folder thing? It is not that easy to go and see into all the folders, right? Instead, if you have a test management tool, you can go directly into the requirements section, see the past release requirements, and get a fair idea about what is this particular requirement about. Doesn't tool help you there? So each tool has a different way of showcasing the entire test process, right? So if you see Jira or ALM, when you actually at the end of this project, you will be having a fair idea of how the requirements look in Jira and how the requirements will be stored in ALM. Okay, so having a knowledge of these tools will help you in making your life easy as a tester. All right. Any other questions, please? No, Radhika, we are one session back or lagging on the manual testing. Okay, so I'll make my time on Monday, well before this session, and we'll discuss on the uh, defect management and reporting. Okay. Apologies, there was heavy rains down in Chennai here, so there's no internet connectivity. Thank God we got it today. All right. Any other questions before we wind up? Sai, you joined late, right? You can. We will share you the folder where you can see these videos. Okay. After this session, maybe after 1-2 hours of time, we'll send you out an email where you can see it. Okay. All right. I don't see any other questions. Thanks everyone for joining today's session. We'll see you tomorrow, same time. Okay.